Hi everyone, this is Dawn again. This will be video 3 of 7 of the video series that I'm creating for all of the federal employees affected by the mass terminations that are currently happening. This presentation will cover your FEGLI, which is your Federal Employee Group Life Insurance. Uh, FEGLI is processed by the agency called OFEGLI, which is located on the OPM website. Now, every new employee typically automatically gets signed up for the group life insurance basic. Some don't even realize they got signed up for it, and some choose to waive it. Others add the optional insurances. Your FEGLI life insurance expires or terminates effective with your separation from federal employment. You do have a 31-day extension of coverage during that time. You will get a form you're supposed to from your HR. There are two forms that they're really supposed to provide you, but sometimes they'll say, oh, well, you have to go and get it yourself offline. But it's ridiculous because they have to fill out portions of it. You really should receive two forms from them if you had your life insurance. There would be a 2819, which is your conversion privilege, and then there's the 2821, and that is the actual form that will show what you had in coverage and that you were separated and some additional information. I will show you guys some clips of those forms just so you know what you're looking for. The conversion privilege comes with some directions should you want to try to convert your federal employee life insurance over to a private policy. I typically tell people it's not worth the money. So most of the time your FEGLI paperwork is for your records or you can put it through the shredder. Typically your HR will upload the SF2821 to your electronic official personnel file or your EOPF, as you may have heard it called. That form, they can give it to you unsigned by payroll just so you have a copy. But typically if you were trying to do the conversion and have your policy converted over to a private policy, they would require you to have that form filled out by your servicing payroll department. But again, I usually tell everyone that it's really kind of not worth it. It's too expensive, and honestly, you can go out into the world at a life insurance agency somewhere and get two or three estimates. Even AAA does life insurance. You don't have to keep this. It does expire and terminate with your employment. And if you did want to convert over to a private policy, you would be paying 100% of the premiums because the government does pay a portion of it. So it does get expensive, especially if you have optional insurances. So I've added this slide that gives you some additional information about FEGLI. It's entirely up to you if you want to keep your insurance or not. As I said, some people will waive it, and if you waived it, you won't even probably see these forms because there's nothing to provide you if you chose to waive your basic life insurance when you first onboarded to your federal agency. This is a copy of the 2819. It'll come with some other instructions, but this is your main sheet that you would be concerned with on terms of how to convert and this and that. This is available online to you if you want to go ahead and look at a full blank version of this. You can just Google an SF2819 and this will come up for you and you can see the full thing. Because not every piece of paper that comes in that packet you get, some things get uploaded to the EOPF and some are payroll, HR, that kind of thing. But this is the one form that, yes, you get this, and then you'll get a copy of that 2821, and I will show you a picture of that also. But HR would fill out all of this. You would see them fill out, the parts 1 through 4, and then the agency certification, they would fill out that part. And generally, the authorized official agent is probably going to be either the HR assistant in benefits or an HR specialist in benefits. It just depends how your agency handles clearance packets and forms that they give to employees that are separating. But this is what the 2819 looks like. And again, there's some additional pages, but not all of them are applicable to you. This is a 2821, and if you were to convert your policy, or at least try to, FEGLI, who handles FEGLI, would want a copy of this. But again, they're going to reject it unless that area 16 and below is completed by your payroll office. And this is not always a quick process to get them to do this. So even if HR forwards this to them, because they're really not supposed to upload this to your EOPF until payroll signs it, because it's not valid until they're done with it. But HR is supposed to complete pretty much everything all the way down to that first 16. Where it says the alpha code, that's where HR would put whatever code for your insurance that you carried. Whether it was the basic, it has a particular code. If you had option A or B or anything like that, there's different codes for those different insurances. And then they would forward it to payroll, and then payroll would complete that 16A through 16G. And then they would send it back to HR, and then HR uploads it to your EOPF. That's how it worked at my agency. Every agency operates a bit differently, but this form you should expect to be completed. Your HR could provide it to you with a copy of their portion filled out, but the payroll portion blank. But if they make you wait for that to be done, then you may eventually get that in the mail completed. But you would only need this form if you wanted to convert with FEGLI by speaking to them. Their information is on the opm.gov website. But again, not to sound like a broken record, but the FEGLI isn't really worth trying to keep. As I said, it does terminate with your employment. If you did pick up a policy with the OPM and the FEGLI, you would be carrying 100% of the premiums. And honestly, it's cheaper on the outside just trying to get your own private policy elsewhere at an outside agency. But I just wanted to go ahead and provide you a picture of what these forms look like. And you can also go online and Google that SF2821 that you're currently looking at on the screen, and you can see all of the various forms. But typically the employee only needs that first copy, the original, because the other ones are for payroll and your EOPF and that kind of thing. All right, folks. So that is your FEGLI, which is your Federal Employee Group Life Insurance. And just one other little thing, because I'm trying to keep this under 15 minutes. FEGLI has no cash out value. This isn't something you're paying into and then you decide you want to cancel it. And hey, what's my cash out value? I'm going to leave with at least a few dollars. No, you're just paying into this. And honestly, unless you die, it's not paying out anything to your family. And if you had option C for family, if one of your family members that was eligible to be on the policy, which, is just a spouse or your children, your dependent children, it's not going to pay out. So it's really just cheaper to go on the outside. So if you had FEGLI and you don't have any interest in seeking to do the conversion, none of this paperwork is really important for you to even have. So if you don't receive it, it's not the end of the world. But if you want to try to convert to a private policy with FEGLI, then yes, you would need the two forms that I showed you a picture of. So I hope that helps in terms of FEGLI, but again, it is cheaper just to go out to the outside world and get a private policy that way if you wanted life insurance. The next video, video 4, I am going to be covering what happens to your leave balances, like your annual leave and your sick leave, when you separate from federal service. So that will be what video 4 is going to discuss. Thanks. See you in the next video.